Hi everybody, my name is Joanne and I am 16 years old. I will tell you the story about how I was betrayed by my younger sister and my boyfriend, even though they probably think that I got what I deserved. But this is for you to decide. I had a boyfriend who helped me with my studies, and now both my sister and him say that I just used him to do my homework for me and help me to cheat during my school tests. And they're partly right. My younger sister Laurie had been studying day and night, but she has the determination. She is 1 year younger than me, but she already knows that she wants to work in pharmaceuticals and to help find a cure for cancer. And she gets good grades in school. But I'm different. I don't like studying at all, and there's a reason behind this. I really have no need for all this math and chem. I want to be a model. I would rather spend my time working out or learning various beauty tips and tricks than doing labs and tests. But I realise that I need to pass tests, at least to make my parents feel happy. My family is not rich, and my parents don't give me enough pocket money to build up savings for the things I need. Speaking of needs, this summer I'm planning to go to a summer modelling camp, where girls like me learn the basics of the modelling business and, more importantly, build a portfolio. Also, only the most successful models have a chance at getting a modelling contract with a brand or a fashion magazine right away. But this camp costs money, and my parents agreed to pay for it. Only if I get good grades at school. Well, that's easier said than done. For such a long time I was sure that D was good enough for me, so I didn't study, for the whole year. I basically only did the bare minimum I needed to pass my tests. But my parents clearly stated good grades. So how was I supposed to make up for all the months I had already missed? Well, I had an idea. I am a beautiful girl. Everyone says it, and a lot of boys at school would die to go out with me, especially Mike. And Mike likes to study almost as much as my sister does. He likes chemistry, and he always talked about the fact that he had a mini lab at home. And, it was not that difficult for me to get him to invite me over. I told him that I was really interested in chemistry and always wanted to see his lab. Mike is shy, and to be honest, pretty ridiculous, and at first he did not believe that a girl like me would be interested in him or whatever he was doing. But I was very convincing. His mother was really happy that Mike had finally gotten himself a girlfriend, and she bought us some homemade lemonade and cookies. And while we were sitting comfortably at a table with dozens of flasks and bottles and boxes with chemicals, I confessed that I was not very strong in science and that I had a big problem with chemistry and also with math. Mike hesitated for a couple of days and finally invited me on a first date. For a few hours I was pretending that I was interested in his conversation about his studies. I just imagined that I was an actress playing the role of somebody else. Why not? A lot of models become actresses, and maybe this was something I was good at. And you know what? I think I did an awesome job, and in less than a week, Mike and I began to see each other as boyfriend and girlfriend. I even kissed him a couple of times. But as much as he enjoyed that he was kissing a girl, possibly for the first time in his life, Mike took my problem very seriously. He started by testing my knowledge of every subject, and at first was horrified, but quickly became optimistic. He made a schedule for our studying, which, in his opinion, would help me pass all the intermediate tests and prepare for my final exams. Then we started to study. We studied every day, alternating the subjects that I had the biggest problems with, chemistry and mathematics, with the ones that I was a little bit better at, like Spanish and English. The problem was that Mike was really eager to help me with both math and chemistry, and at first I was really eager to study. But it was so hard for me to concentrate. All I wanted was to pass the tests and go to summer modelling camp. But Mike was very determined to help me understand the subject. And I was trying hard. But the more we studied, the worse the outcome was. The only thing I could think of was that I was losing my precious time doing something I did not need at all. I made stupid mistakes with the simplest tasks. And, finally, Mike just gave up too. We both agreed that we did not have enough time to catch up with a whole year's worth of schoolwork, and it would be better if he just did my homework for me. I also made him believe that I would rather do something else with him than listen to his explanations, and he gradually surrendered. He followed me everywhere I needed to go, mostly shopping or to the gym, and did my homework at night. It definitely felt like he was my boyfriend, and I didn't want to disappoint him. He was nice, and the most important thing was, he was doing my homework for me. Yes, Mike turned out to be a really nice guy. But first, I liked boys who were a completely different type, physically fit, who look like they're from the covers of magazines. And second, I did not have time for all of this nonsense. But, as I have told you already, I did not want to disappoint him or to lose someone who was helping me get rid of this boring homework routine. So I even posted some pictures of Mike and I together on Instagram. But when my friends asked me if I really had a boyfriend like this one, I had to write a reply and explain to them what I really thought about Mike and why I really needed him. I even made a funny picture from one of our photos, adding a pair of rabbit ears to Mike's head. In the meantime, Mike was making plans for how he would help me with my tests, and he came up with a really good idea. On the day before the test, he came to visit me, but I was not at home. My sister Laurie told me that they chatted for a while, and then he left. But I didn't even think to ask her what they had been talking about. What other topic could Mike have chosen while talking to my sister, but how happy and lucky he was that a girl like me had picked him. On the next day, Mike and I met before the test and discussed his plan. It was risky and complicated, but safe from the point of view of me getting answers for my tests. Everything went as planned, and I got all the answers from Mike. But when I received the results, it turned out that I failed. I just could not believe my eyes. How could this have happened? This test was very important for me and for my grades. With a little help from Mike, with a lot of help from Mike, I somehow pulled my grades up over the course of the semester to be passing, but nothing more. In order to satisfy my parents, I had to get at least tolerable grades for the semester. I had to get a perfect score on the final. But as it turned out, I totally failed it. I was furious, and I called Mike immediately, but he did not answer, so I rushed to his house. And guess what I saw? Mike and Laurie sitting together in his stupid lab, doing something. And you know what? Judging by how they sat head to head, so close to each other that Mike's cheek was almost touching my sister's hair, my younger sister, who, with her stupid tediousness and obsession with studying, was always in the shadow of my beauty and charm. And I heard Mike talking tenderly to her and explaining something from the school program of our semester, which she was not going to have to do in her school program for at least a year. And by the way, she nodded her head, understanding everything that he was telling her, or pretending to understand. It didn't really matter. I realised that something was happening between them, but this seriously could not be happening. Mike had fallen for my sister, and to such extent that he gave me the wrong answers. Of course, I made my presence clear and demanded immediate explanations. And then they told me the story of how my younger sister showed Mike the screenshots of my replies to my friends and my drawings on Mike's picture, and how she also told him everything about my plans to go to summer modelling school. Laurie added that I broke Mike's heart, but that she really loved him, and that I now had gotten what I deserved for hurting such a wonderful person. Now, of course, I'm not going to summer modelling camp, and I will have to study all summer and take the tests again. Needless to say, I also failed the rest of my exams in subjects that Mike had helped me with. Of course, I really wanted to go to that summer camp, but since I already failed one of the tests, nothing mattered after that. Yes, I did have enough pride to not communicate with the traitor, even if he was the only one who could have helped me. So I did not ask Mike to help me with my other exams. And of course, even though I still live in the same house with Laurie, every time I see her, I pretend that she simply does not exist. And, as you can probably guess, she treats me exactly the same way. Please tell me what you think about my story. Have you ever been betrayed by people you trusted?